Hey everybody, welcome back to another Judgment commentary of Kaguya-sama, Love is War, Ultra Romantic. But today, we're going to be checking out episode 6. But last time on episode 5, hoo boy, that episode was a friggin' gem. Let's get into that. It all started with Miyuki wanting to improve his rapping skills because as we saw, his rapping was dire. So he approaches the one person in the world who can help him, Fujiwara, and at first, she said she couldn't help him because she actually doesn't know how to rap. She thought she did, but she didn't. But once Miyuki explains that he needs to improve his rapping skills in order to convey his emotions to someone, she decides to buckle down and learn how to rap herself so that she can teach him. Now that's a dedicated friend. So she learns, becomes good at it, and passes the info down to Miyuki. And the person Miyuki wanted to express his emotions to was in fact Hayasaka, you know, the person he nearly killed with his bad rapping skills. He wanted to respond to her telling him that he is just living behind a mask, that he's just pretending to be a certain way so that people will accept him. And what better way to do that than with a scathing rap number? And all that practice he had paid off because all the rapping in that episode was really good and fun to listen to, and it also did help to convey his emotions really well. At first, he was just defending himself from what Hayasaka said to him, but then he switches over to the offense and starts tearing her down, accusing her of being the one who's faking it for the sake of other people, which, in all actuality, yeah, that's what she was doing. But it got really interesting when Kaguya decided to try to weigh in on that, and yeah, Kaguya has no place to try to criticize Hayasaka for anything, given how much she does for her. So Hayasaka isn't just gonna sit there and take that, and she goes against Kaguya in what I thought was the best scene in the episode, man. Just love the way they chose to animate that, you know, with Hayasaka switching between her various disguises in the middle of what she was saying. I don't know, I just thought it was a cool detail. But in the end, I think everybody managed to work through some stuff there. Man, I can't say enough how much I enjoyed those two segments. I mean, it was super well animated, and the music was bopping as well. What else can you say? And then the third segment was just about Maki approaching Miyuki and Ishigami, once again seeking some advice, and there's not much that we need to go over there. In the end, she walked away feeling better knowing that she, Miyuki, and Ishigami can be buds, and she's got that going for her. Even if she can't be with Kashiwagi's boyfriend, who we learn is actually named Tsubasa. Oh, by the way, the outro of the episode was also super good. I mean, the animation was very unique and stylized compared to the rest of the show, and from what you guys told me, it was apparently directed by an 18-year-old. Yeah, at that young of an age being a friggin' animation director on an outro that epic. That's really cool. And the song was super catchy as well. I've already listened to it like 4 or 5 times. Anyway, that's enough rambling about the last episode. It was super good, that's all that matters, but for now, we're on to episode 6. Well, a very Miyuki-focused episode today. Most of the segments were revolving around him. Only the first one did not, and that one even had his dad in it, though. But the first segment was still interesting. We got a bit of Hayasaka stuff there. We got to meet her mother, and there was some interesting things with that, because Hayasaka at first was very negative about her mom, saying like, oh, she doesn't care about me, she's not gonna show up, she probably doesn't even value my life at all. But then the second she walked in, she completely flipped the script and 180'd entirely. She was very happy to see her and was looking forward to having dinner with her that night. She's probably correct in that she's usually very busy, but she does seem to enjoy the time she does get to spend with her, despite how absolutely scathing she was being. And then Miyuki's dad shows up and is just being a little bit creepy to Kaguya. That's an understatement. Right when he showed up, I mean, you saw what he did. Me. And it was nice of him to try to help Kaguya out because he is licensed as a career consultant, but in the end, Kaguya seems to have a bit of an issue breaking away from what her dad wants because she said, I only want to do what my parents want me to do. Which apparently what her dad wants is for her to continue her education here at the same school. But this did bring back the problem of Kaguya's dad, who seemingly pays no attention to her at all, barely even acknowledges her, couldn't even drag himself out here for the sake of this and just sends Hayasaka's mom instead. Who at least, she's there for Hayasaka when she can be, despite how busy she is, she did say that she intended to come here and take the day off anyway, whether she had been told to come here or not. But him, nah. But then, we get the big nail-biter here. Miyuki plans to study overseas at Stanford University. And, naturally, with Kaguya saying that she wishes to stay here, but Miyuki at least has said, if she doesn't confess to me by the time of the cultural festival, then I'll confess to her. I'm not sure if he would be able to necessarily go through it as easily as he might think, if it does come to that, which, let's face it, it's gonna have to. Kaguya ain't gonna confess anytime soon, not directly, so something tells me we're gonna be seeing some tension at that cultural festival. And my prediction, that will probably be wrong, is that the two of them will confess to each other simultaneously in a big romantic moment, and then Kaguya will decide to join Miyuki in going to Stanford. But hey, that is just random speculation. But then the next two segments were just dedicated to Miyuki's attempts at trying to go out with Kaguya without confessing to her outright. I mean, the dude actually managed to ask her out on a date, casually, coolly, but somehow he didn't consider that a confession in the moment. To be fair, yeah, with the way he phrased it, he definitely presented it as if it was just for the interest of benefiting their own festival, but with how much they've stretched what could be a confession before, you'd think that might have counted under their terms. But then, son of a gun, the two of them both managed to blow it because Kaguya didn't catch on at first, and by the time she did, she was too freaked out to respond. And then when she did manage to respond, she was a little too vague in how she was going about it. And Miyuki had too much doubt. Feel bad about that, man. I mean, it could have been great for them. Could have given them a good opportunity to get a little closer, maybe even confess at some point, but nope, stars did not align. And as if his confidence wasn't already pretty shot after that last segment, my poor boy Miyuki just getting ripped into pretty bad. Fujiwara and Miko were not mincing their words there very much. I mean, Fujiwara said she would rather die than date him. Ouch. At least Miko just said he wasn't her type. But once Kaguya stepped in and actually gave him a compliment saying, hey, I don't think he needs to improve anything, it's amazing how quickly that can restore one's confidence. I mean, a guy hears a girl say one good thing about him, that can fuel him for years. But yeah, the end message was right. People can't look at themselves objectively. It's impossible. No matter how hard we may try, it can't be done. Anyway, man, this episode was still a lot of fun, and it set up some good stuff for Miyuki going forward. He's got an ultimatum, he's got a deadline, he has to confess to her if she doesn't confess to him by the time of the cultural festival. If not, it's the end of the year, and they might just end up going their separate ways. But of course, acting on one of those last-minute ultimatum type things, it's not always easy. You gotta watch it, man. So hey, good laughs and good character development. Just another day in the world of Kaguya. But for now, I think that's all I gotta say, guys. So thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed. Subscribe to be updated on more. That'd be great. Next time, episode 7, which is getting pretty dang close to the end of season 3. And also, on the subject of the subs that I'm using from GJM, they actually only translated up to episode 8, which means after that, I'm gonna have to switch over to the official subs. So for fans of the official subs, there you go. But seriously, with this episode in mind, we're reaching another turning point where they could just completely go their separate ways unless one of them acts to try to keep everything together. Just like before when they almost had to leave the student council. But this is going to be a much bigger decision. So yep, that's all I got. I had fun. Hope you guys did too. But till we meet again, I will see you guys later.